That alone, verse number 81. Prakriti divides. On one side is the agent of enjoyment, on the other, whatever shines outside, as the here and the beyond, as an expansion of thisness, is the world of enjoyment. Commentary. In verse 79, Narayana Guru brought us to the conclusion that everything is an aspect or expression of supreme consciousness. Chit Prabhavam Ellam. In verse 80, he gave us another aspect, that everything we experience is only a word. Giru Matram Agam. In the present verse, we are brought closer to these two aspects, the consciousness that holds within it everything experienced, and the world to which designations are given, in which things are known by name. There cannot be two separate truths. Both these belong to the world of experience, and whenever we think of the word experience, we have to also think of an experiencer as well as what is experienced. This verse takes us to the very core of our personal existence. Personal existence may at first look like a consciousness shining within a body, but that is a shallow understanding. I do not know what others experience. Even when somebody describes their experience to me in detail, I can understand it only in the light of my own experience. When I hear something for the first time, I create a novel situation with newly structured concepts based solely on memories of my previous experiences. Although it looks new, the stuff of it comes directly from my own experience. When we are confronted by a situation that is altogether new, however, we do not have any alternative other than to give into it. Before we are able to process the situation into our memory of previous experiences, there is a moment when it fills our whole awareness. It stands there like an all-encompassing wall. We do not immediately see any way to surmount it, because its bottom goes to the very bottom of our consciousness, and its top to the very top. Its ends are beyond our reach. It becomes a this with a capital T. That this is not out there as an impassive truth. We are intimately related to it because it concerns us. It challenges us. We cannot overlook it or forget it, even for a split second. It fills every pore of our consciousness. It is not a thing, not just an event. It is a total this. This great wall, or confronting reality, or undeniable existence, does not appear as a historical consequence of anything else. It looks as if we are confronted with an otherness which has its base in the primeval reality. It extends to the boundless, unending future. It defies historicity by defying our categorization of it, using our memories of previous experience. In this experience, we are transformed from a miniature I to an I which is boundless. It is as if we are also beginningless and endless, capable of responding to the challenge in its totality. When we come to this state, the transformation of a particular I with a dimension of finitude into this infinite I is directly connected with the other. In this particular case, the personal I transcends several of its limitations, such as age, name, sex, nationality, and so on. All these are irrelevant little details of the modulation of I. None of them now appear as the essential I. The essential I here establishes itself in the transcendent. The transcendent merges into the immanent. The transcendence of this I is given to it by the existential verity of the experience, which we naturally expect to come from the other. But these two aspects, the I and the other, are related in one single consciousness. The consciousness we experience as the universal reality, the natural law that operates, gives integrity to the I consciousness as the respondent. That same law can necessitate the other to hold itself together, to give itself substantiality as the correspondent. The same nature provides the I consciousness with its faculty to reason, to feel, to recognize, to doubt, to fear, to enjoy, and also to make devices to overcome fear, to moderate enjoyment, to push forward and do, or to restrain. The point is that there are not two separate laws, only a universal situation that we have split in two. Some philosophers speak of human laws in opposition to natural laws. When we tear ourselves away from the notion of man-made or legislated laws, the discrepancies or the make-believes that are part of the other become quite transparent, and we can see right through them. If these protected pretenses of a society cause an impasse in a situation, which they very often do, it is also to be taken as a part of nature's function. It is in no way an invalidation of nature's law. We need to notice how in nature there is flourishing forth, followed by disintegration and disorientation. This can happen to the individual human mind as well as to the social mind, to which several individual minds contribute. There you stand helpless, like the tree stands naked in winter. When its leaves start falling off, it has no way to resist. It can only accept. Likewise, at a certain stage, the human body degenerates, reason fades, emotions override, and senility sets in. We have to stand and accept it also as part of the game of transformation. When you truly grasp this, you are left with an inside story of experience. You are no longer an individual who is planted deep into a system, along with many other individuals, looking at particular things like a flower or a sunrise. You have become the universal person. What is under discussion here is your existence and the existence of your world, which contains everything else, all the other people and things. In this experience, you have grown from the status of an individual enjoyer of things to the universal enjoyer. The other half of your consciousness is seen to be universal enjoyment. You can think of yourself as the knower, then the other half becomes the known. You can think of yourself as one who acts or reacts, then the other half becomes the stimulus for you to act and the field in which your action becomes relevant. You become the knower and the actor. You become the experiencer. There is a great depth in the experience of enjoying than in the experience of knowing or even the experience of acting. There can be actions which are autonomous or reflexive, in which you act like a robot. All repetitious work, like daily chores, is also action, but it doesn't fill your whole beingness. Similarly, there can be a lot of information fed into your system. We are in the so-called information age, with billions of items of knowledge available to everyone. We are awash in a sea of information, but it is not the same as the overwhelming knowledge. Only in matters of enjoyment do we move from casual appreciation to a more direct involvement. The experience of pain and pleasure absorb and transform our entire personality. In the previous two verses, we were considering the possibility of looking at everything as an adorable wonder of consciousness. Unknowingly, we placed ourselves on the outside as a little person standing in bewilderment, looking at the grand panorama and saying, "Wonderful." And when we considered the possibility of treating everything as vibrations of sound or as mere words, it looked as if we could reduce everything to a casual experience of listening to something outside. In this verse, a correction is made. These are not two casual occurrences. The total scope of experience is taking place within the experiencer. There is nothing other than you as an experiencer. Both the I and the other are within you. What you are experiencing is yourself. It's your nature, or it's the nature of nature to see itself, to experience itself. Early in this study, Narayana Guru told us that knowledge, in order to know its own nature, changed into all these possibilities, such as earth and so on. By changing and turning about, it knows itself, like a spark which, when it is moved in circles, makes seemingly solid patterns in the air. Your personal experience of the inward I and the outward other is to be unified under the category of looking at the totality from the angle of an experiencer experiencing. When you touch the tip of a finger of one hand with the tip of a finger of the other, you are both experiencing and being experienced. Which finger is experiencing the touch of which finger? When you have a pleasant talk with a friend, or when you embrace as lovers, kiss or make love, which one is the experiencer and which is the experienced? Who feels the joy of it? Of course, each one thinks he is experiencing the love of the other, the touches and contact of the other. One person's object is the other person's subject. The category of consciousness in both is the same, an object experiencing a subject, but you only know the part which is your experience. The far-off sky with its starry heavens and floating clouds, the great panorama of the snow-peaked mountains, and the pleasant feeling you get from a gentle breeze or sitting by a warm fire. All these blend into the other, which is intrinsically connected with I. This I has no existence apart from its seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, thinking, recalling, forgetting. Its emotions of love or anger, and its moods of depression or elation. It always exists as some experience. When there is no experience, there is neither the enjoyable world or the enjoying self. It's only through a philosophic abstraction you can even imagine it. You don't experience the non-experiencing of anything. From the unreal that you postulate in the name of philosophy, you are now stepping onto the only reality to which you belong, the only reality you live. The whole range is an experience, and it is your nature. It is the nature. There is no longer any distinction to make between Purusha and Prakriti, spirit and nature, or of a you as a visitor to nature. There is only nature, your total nature, or nature's total you. This meditation should take you to a very intense level of experience. You don't very often go into that state. It's true. When you sit in your own armchair and think of some other people as despicable or lovable, you have become a miniature you, thinking of miniature others. There is a way of giving deliverance to that miniature I, sitting on that armchair with its little prejudices so that it becomes a universal I. Then that despicable character can be seen as part of your visualization, the otherness of your nature, which is only presenting itself in a certain way. The feeling of revulsion you have is another despicable aspect of the I consciousness. You cannot turn away from the despicable person because he is inlaid in you. When a transparent crystal is placed on a red carpet, there is no way of keeping it from turning red. Theoretically, you can say a transparent crystal has no color. That's true. But in that particular setting, the red wavelengths emanating from the carpet are filling the crystal's transparency, making it appear red. Like that, we can say in principle that you are not dishonest and the other person is. You are not ugly, but the other person is frightful to look at. You are not a coward, but the other person is afraid. But for you to see and experience those situations, the color of the carpet has to pass through the crystal of your mind, which takes on that coloration. To that extent, it is conditioned. There should be no eagerness here to disown the other in order for you to become a very special person. You must face the other with courage and totally accept it. You cannot escape it. Resisting and beating your breast only proves your ignorance of your own nature, your ignorance of your belongingness to nature. Here, your earlier acceptance of everything as aspects of pure consciousness is no longer just a casual remark you have made. It becomes a living experience. Earlier, the observation was made that everything you can conceive of is a word image of experience. Experience is epitomized and put into word form. Here, that word is releasing you back into the original experience. Words are considered to be sound entities, which can burst in you like bombshells, filling you with their meaning. Saying it's just a word does not lessen its impact on you. A word properly directed and spoken, for which you are the target, has a particular impact on you. All the words you hear, speak, and even think come and present themselves to you as the other. Thus, there is an integration of word dynamics with all the potentials of consciousness. The words become consciousness, and consciousness becomes words. The I and the other are interchangeable. We are not philosophizing here. We are living it. And as we are living it, there is this natural division of the experiencer and the experienced. This division is held to be true only for the purpose of understanding what we are experiencing. Otherwise, the experiencer would have to soak into the totality in order to experience it. To experience sweetness, your consciousness would have to penetrate into the sweetness of some substance and transform itself into that substance. Only when your consciousness has attained a full identification with the quality of sweetness would you be fully experiencing it. Consciousness percolates into that which is experienced. It is a process of ex-osmosis and end-osmosis, where you cannot say which is which. Each penetrates into the other. Then all the dualities, such as the ontologic and the teleologic, The immanent and the transcendent, the real and the actual, and the spiritual and the natural are all fused into the one full reality, and you become the caretaker of it. You are the possessor of it, and you are that. There is no God outside to look for or realize. There is no wisdom lying outside to seek and find. You are the law, a law unto yourself. You are the truth. In Narayana Guru's universal prayer, he says, Ni Satyam Jnanam Anandam. You are the truth, you are the knowledge, and you are the blissful experience. In this context, you come to that final state of saying, I am that I am. And the free translation of verse number 81 is as follows. Nature divides itself into the enjoyer and the enjoyed. The conceiving self that illuminates all as counterparts of knowledge is the enjoyer. What is extended as thisness, both here and beyond, is the universe that is enjoyed.